Not really nervous about tearing it up. The more nervous that it would crank.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a show car.
Yeah. You just never know with those show cars. I guess I'm nervous today that might not crank, but they've been better. We had one that was giving us a little trouble. We ended up having to push it out there one year, and that was. I told them that can't never happen again, so I expect them to make sure that thing runs. But it's. I don't really worry about tearing the grass up, especially with the weather. We've got pretty good weather.
Last year it was really muddy and
sloppy.
Remember?
Yeah. I was concerned coming down the hill. It might hide their plane, but on that concrete.
People would love that, though.
I don't know not if it hit somebody.
Well, yeah. Okay.
We'll talk about being a part of this event each year. I know you've done it before. What's it like?
Yeah, it's real simple. It's real easy for me. I just love to come support TaxSlayer. They get a real big kick out of being involved in the bowl and supporting the bowl. They do a great job of promoting it and making the bowl better. And I always see them in the racing environment, and we've been partners and friends at Junior Sports for a while on the racing side. So it's cool to kind of come here and see them in this environment and understand how they market and activate. And try to get some ideas on how to improve our race team relationship and do a better job of marketing and activating there. So you get some good ideas when you kind of cross promote.
Gamecocks aside, do you watch any bowls?
I certainly. I got a store in Tallahassee, that Chevy store down there. So we sort of pull for Florida State a little bit, but also been an Oregon fan for years. Way back when Joey Harrington was their quarterback, I just thought they had cool uniforms and their field was cool, and they've been like my second, third team ever since. But so that was hard to figure out who you wanted to win last night between the two, but Oregon settled that pretty easily. But I hope that they'll win it all. I think that they got a lot of playmakers and certainly can put the points on the board.
What do you think about the two teams? Talk about Tennessee and Iowa in the bowl.
I don't know much about Iowa. Tennessee, I think, is favored slightly. So, and I think being they're a closer proximity to where I live, they'll be probably the team that I'd pull for.
Do you pull for the SEC when South Carolina's not playing? Like pull for Alabama yesterday?
Not really. Yeah, I'm not. I like to see the SEC do well because it helps out recruiting South Carolina, but. Mike Davis is such an Alabama fan that it makes it very difficult to pull for Alabama.
Have you met Butch Jones before? Have you crossed paths with him at all? What do you think about the game that they have up at Bristol Motor Speedway? Tennessee and Virginia Tech are going to play a couple of years. What's that going to be like?
I don't know. I was really concerned with just the infrastructure of the track itself, being able to move that big scoring stand. Maybe they just need to move it for good, but because it's just sort of in the way. But I guess if they can put a good field down that don't blow anybody's knees out, it's probably going to be a great place to see a game. I mean, it's very similar to as far as a football stadium, the seating. I think the only concern for me would be is how good are the seats and how well. Is the fans' view of the action on the field.
How much do you think football fans and racing fans overlap and share love for both sports?
I think probably a lot. Of all the stick and ball sports, I see, I guess, the NFL is the closest relation, just due to the energy of the sport and the high impact, hard hitting action in NFL is kind of similar to cars racing down the straightaway, 3 wide at Talladega. Baseball is a different pace than both football and racing. So I think of all the stick and ball sports, the NFL and football in general is probably the closest relation, but I don't know. There's plus there's such a wide pool of fans in both sports that certainly they would have a lot of overlap.
Was it a lot easier to get up on January 2nd and come here
Yes.
than it was on
Hell
January
yes.
1st?
Well, basically we had we had been throwing these New Year's Eve parties for a couple of years, me and Amy, for all our friends back home. But we rerouted the party to the 30th, so that we would be sharp and not hungover when we come over here to the bowl game. Because I like to, when I go into a situation where I need to have my head on straight, I don't like to be hungover doing it. But yeah, it was pretty fun to be able to go out on New Year's this year. We went to Whiskey River down in Charlotte and saved ourselves a little money instead of throwing our own party and having to clean it up too. But that place was busy and we had fun at Whiskey River. But yeah, I was glad that I don't know what the particular reason was for moving the game, but
because they're the only game on in the 3:30 slot.
Okay.
They're the only game.
Yeah.
And it was, how many games were there yesterday? 6.
Yeah.
And it just got lost.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Speaking of Whiskey River,
Yeah.
here in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Yeah, we struggled. We had as far as our rent and the square footage, we weren't able to make a profit. We had too big a space for the money we were making, so it works in Charlotte. It's still very successful there, and we are opening up a sort of a wing or a branch in the Charlotte Douglas Airport in one of the concourses, and so we're excited about that.
Have you been looking down in Daytona?
Well, we talked a little bit, just preliminary discussions with Lisa and them, but I don't think that we ever really got a decision on anything. And but I definitely think that'd be a lot of fun to have a spot, have a place at the racetrack. That'd be cool. I mean, just to be any kind of if we could have a booth or anything there, it'd be pretty neat to do that. But we've done it before. I think at Charlotte Motor Speedway we have these little mobile things that we do at some of the racetracks that we've done at Charlotte and stuff. I think it's been pretty successful.
Were you over the disappointment of last year? Last season, the way,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good year.
Well, it was a great year until in the chase.
End,
yeah.
Well, I was disappointed about the chase, but we were able to. One thing about that, I think the winning at Martinsville sort of masked all the disappointment of how the chase was going for us, because it was going into Martinsville. We had ran uncharacteristic to how we ran earlier in the season, and we felt like that we were getting, we got knocked out of the chase by teams we felt like we should have been able to beat, and so I think that was had we not won Martinsville, that the last 10 races would be pretty forgettable. But that Martinsville win really allowed us to kind of put it on the back burner and not even really worry about it. But I don't know what we need to do. I thought that we were in great position to, make a run for it, at least be in the middle of it. I knew that Kevin was going to be the guy that's going to be hard to beat. I could tell that when we tested it at Charlotte in December in 2013. I could tell that they were going to be tough. So, and they'll be tough for years to come. I mean, it's obvious that they got a pretty strong team and got a great crew chief. But I think I don't know what we need to do. We've got it to where we can run great all 26, and that was difficult to do, to where we could get consistent every week. But I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a little bit of luck and a little bit showing up fast. We weren't able to do that.
How much do you guys talk about your football allegiances, you to South Carolina, other guys to their either college or NFL teams? How much is that a topic of conversation during downtown?
I don't know. I think you see a lot of it on Twitter. Stenhouse is a big Ole Miss fan. They're always take pictures and in their Ole Miss stuff. But So you see everybody, especially during bowl weeks, seeing everybody talk about who they're pulling for, who they want to win. I got a Madden league where there's 32 guys. Every team in this Madden league is a human team, so there's a lot of talk about football in there, especially right now with college bowl games going on. So it's day to day, seeing what everybody's talking about.
Other than maybe Trevor Bain, do you know of any guys that are outward Tennessee fans at all?
I don't. I know that Sterling's a big Tennessee fan. He actually ran the Tennessee logo on his car several times throughout his career in the Nationwide Series at Bristol, for one I know. So I imagine Stedman's a pretty big Tennessee fan too.
Going back to Daytona, you said it's a little bit better when going in there you're a contender. We are kind of always a contender going in there, aren't you?
Yeah, but I mean, you go in a little more confidence having the win, and in your this inner confidence that there's some arrogance, and then there's this inner confidence that you have, like, man, I know I can do it. I did it last year when I needed to be diligent on all those restarts, and when I needed to be hard and aggressive on when Biffle was trying to pass me, and I had to really get hard and aggressive on his door. I know I can do those things, and I know I can get that out of myself to hustle, every single lap, and it's the cars got to be really, really good, but also you have to be willing to work every lap, about work the draft and work side drafting, and even when you can't side draft for advantage, you can side draft to hold a guy and stop his progression. Like, a lot of times I'd pull up beside Biffle when I had hardly anybody behind me and hold him there, and even having Jimmy behind him, he couldn't push him by because I could stall him so hard. And you got to be willing to do that. It's for lack of it's a jerk move, but you got to do it. You have to do it. So I gotta, I have that personality. I don't, it's not really my personality to go around doing jerk things, but when you're in that particular situation, you got to be ready to work lap after lap, whether you're trying to help yourself or do jerk things. So it takes every bit of those efforts to maintain that track position, because you're just not going to drive up through there and pass guys. The package doesn't work that way anymore. And I talked to several drivers about this particular package and how we can stall each other, and the side draft, the way the cars run side by side is so different than it's ever been, where basically you can have a guy you can hold a guy beside you and not let him pass. I mean, you can just get right next to him and it kills his car, and it kills yours too, but at least nobody's going anywhere, So it's just you gotta be willing to work every lap and do those things that you need to do to keep that track position, because you need to be up front. You have to be first on that last restart. If no one else, if you get shoved out, you're gonna win the race. That's where you need to be to win it.